All right. So what ended up happening was Sasha Johnson, she was on the other one that we had just got started. So I'm waiting on her to jump back in. Let me WhatsApp her real quick. Hope she see it. If not, I'm gonna call on WhatsApp, but I don't see her jump back in here. But yeah, she was on here. We're gonna talk about the election today. Hope everyone is doing good. I hope you have everything that you need. I hope so. I hope you stockpile all the things you need to stockpile. I'm not telling you what to stockpile. You know, some things for your, for your homes, and if you want to hunker down or whatever you want to do. Like I said, we just trying to pass on the good news and information best way possible here. There are people who are out there voting right now. I mean, and I got into a little tussle, with a couple of, black folks on Twitter while waiting for Sasha to come back in here. I said that, well, remember that the Electoral College system was created during slavery. Okay. So while they created that system and still maintain the Electoral College system to keep the Mzungu's voting power intact. Because if you look at it, how is it that their population is decreasing and yet their voting power hasn't decreased? It's because of the Electoral College system that is a rigged system. Now, they use the argument to say, well, if we didn't have the Electoral College, then everyone in California and New York and Texas, and I think they say Florida and some other states, they would control all the elections. No, they wouldn't. They would not control all elections. That's the lie that they told them, because you have states that barely have not even, some states don't even have like 1 million people, and yet they got more power with the Electoral College than states. They have more people. I mean, really, your vote isn't fully counted by the Electoral College system. It's not. And then when they created that system, not only was it in slavery, we wasn't even considered a human being at that time period. They were only an estimated possibly 3 million people that was just all over this land. Now you have over 30 million people that we have here. How could you still have a system like that? And then they made sure the system was so embedded into America that they make it hard to get rid of it. You can't just, they can't just come up with a bill and get rid of it. No, it has to be literally a constitutional amendment to get rid of the Electoral College system. That's how deep it is. They made sure certain things you can get rid of easily. This is why they didn't make the Voting Rights Act or Civil Rights Act constitutional amendments. That's why, because a constitutional amendment is much harder to get rid of than a bill that you can come up with tomorrow. And even with the Civil Rights Act, they vote on that every 25 years. And now, you see the Democrats trying to add LGBTQ to the Civil Rights Act. They're trying to add that. Okay. So let me see, make sure, okay. Tell her, let me see, click that new link. Hold on. Give me, let me let her click the new link. Okay. Anyway, while we're waiting on Sasha to click the new link, they didn't make anything that belonged to us. So here she go. Here she comes. Not permanent. But let's get to Sasha. Sasha's here today. She got a coalition with her today. Sasha, what's going on, Sasha?
Hiya, how are you doing?
I am good. Sasha, you remember her. Sasha, she is the what's your tagline again? The what Black Panther?
I'm the UK's new Black Panther Party representative.
Okay. All right. Now, you remember she was here last time going back and forth with Dominique Samuels, so I'm pretty sure, some of you first time seeing Sasha, and she's back today. Some of you who didn't know, Sasha has a great restaurant. I have some UK subscribers as well. Before we get into it, Sasha, tell people just a little bit about the restaurant. I know we dealing with you dealing with a new lockdown, right?
Yeah, so we're going into a second lockdown here in the UK, starting from Thursday. So that means that no one's allowed to mix in, you're not allowed to mix with different households. You're not allowed to be in more than group, you're not allowed to be in groups of more than 6. And yeah, you're not allowed to protest in more than groups of 2s. And if you're a business, if you're not doing food, you're not allowed to stay open. And if you are doing food, you're only allowed to do takeaway services. I run an African Caribbean cuisine restaurant. This came about as a young woman. I was looking at entrepreneurship, and I was advised by some people that I went into youth work with that it would be a good step to go into the food industry, go into something that's always needed. So it was food, and I also have a cleaning company called Sisters Keepers. So I've got into those 2 industries.
All right. So, now what city is your restaurant in? Because we want to make sure all the Black people that watch this channel in the UK, they can go support your restaurant. Where is that?
So my restaurant is on the Cowley Road in Oxford. So it's called Karibo's. It's on Cowley Road in Oxfordshire. And that is, Oxfordshire is where all the university, Oxford University is. So that will be a point to know what kind of Oxford, not Oxford Street in London, but Oxfordshire.
Okay, hold on, Sasha. Let me just give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna let this comment go public. First and foremost, Mr. Roberto Suarez, why are you here? Why are you here worrying about her and what country? They wouldn't have a UK, it wouldn't be for Black people. First and foremost. I mean, are you
Exactly
one of these immigrants that came into America walking on the back of Black people to get in somewhere? Nobody's talking to you or your community or nothing. Why are you here? I'm just asking that question. You get what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm talking about. Black folks can't have a conversation without all these other people coming in and saying things, right? I don't go to Telemundo's page and say nothing about Black people. I don't say a word at Telemundo or Univision or any other place. But I just wanted to just point that out. But you see how it is.
What the enemy does, the enemy comes to distract, and that is one of the weapons they use to defeat is the weapon of distraction. And I won't be healed into that weapon for no crackers, to be honest with you. So I will continue to ignore them. I won't pay them any attention. I'm here tonight to talk about Black unity, Black liberation, and Black empowerment, and mainly getting those boots on the ground and what we're doing to mobilize as a global unity. I'm here tonight with Anthony Spencer, who was one of the members of the Million People Coalition that was formed here in London over the summer. And we replicated the Million Man March by creating the Million People March here in London. One of the most peaceful march that went on with no arrest. And here is Ife. He's a fellow Nigerian. We've been standing in solidarity against police brutality and bad governance and corrupt governance in Nigeria. Through that, we've realized that we have a lot in common in what's going on in our countries back home and in what is happening here in the UK. I'm also here to voice and to show solidarity with my US Panthers who are about to march on the White House on November the 7th. So I'm here to encourage people to stand with them. Panthers came and they stood for their people at a time where it was needed. When Huey P decided to form the Panthers, he decided to stand for Black people on a whole and to stand for not just to war against child poverty. It was a war against our community and what they were trying to do to us at the time with mass incarceration, killing us off. He stood. So I'm here to show solidarity to my fellow Panthers in America, to say, wherever you need my voice, I will lend it to you. And if I could be boots on the ground with you, even though I'm in the UK, I will be doing boots on the ground to approach a US embassy.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off, Phil, by telling you a bit about the program that we're creating here in the UK. So in the UK, I've been one of the first young people to form a new Black Panther Party chapter at my age. I'm 26 years old. Before that, in the 70s, a Black Panther movement was going on in the UK, but however, it was never sustained. I'm here to revitalize that movement and to create a program called the Black Man, Woman and Child Agenda. On that agenda, we won't be seeking to ask any government official, any councillors, anyone for donation towards our community. We're looking at mobilising ourselves and funding our own community efforts. We're looking at Black education classes online. We're looking at an underground Black bank, how we're going to maintain keeping our money in our community. From this underground Black bank, we'll be collecting donations Those donations are going to be collected from the online education classes we will be hosting. These online education classes will be about Black history, Black economics, and moving forward to understand Black finance. So teaching our young people about Black finance, and mainly we're decolonizing the education ourselves. We're using modern day technology and platforms that are available to us during the lockdown here to get our young people knowing about self and knowing how to enter the business world and to become self-sustainable. We're also educating them on their history and educating them on their laws. We'll be holding classes around law, so understanding what acts of parliaments are, legislations and policies, and breaking that down to our young people to show them why their votes are important, and why is it important that you know where you're putting that vote and what that vote contributes to.
All right, so go ahead.
That's the overall of the things that I would like to discuss.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You know, let's recap, because some people say, "Welcome back, Sasha." You know, what happened after the debate? Because you remember last time you were saying that in UK media, you're not allowed to talk, or allowed to say your piece. You know, what happened after that?
So after the debate with Dominique Samuels, I had a lot more people reach out to me from the Black community. I had people out, because normally they see me out, boots on the ground, and I'm shouting, or I might look like the angry Black woman. And they had a chance really to hear me and understand where that passion comes from, and why I was out on the ground, and why I thought it was important that this message was spread. So I had people reaching out to me for help, people reaching out for advice, and people just generally having conversation of where they are in the struggle and how they feel they can contribute to bringing this struggle to an end.
All right, so the two brothers beside you, let's talk to those brothers. Like I said, so brother, who want to go first?
I'll go first. Pleasure to meet you. I've watched the shows many a time, mostly on the replays of it on the web, on the internet. My name is Anthony Spencer. Everyone calls me Spencer. Feel free to call me Spencer. You can see from the background, I have a YouTube channel, very much locked onto what goes on in your country. We're going to be going live tonight as the results come in, and we're going to be breaking down the results to our viewers. Like Sasha said, I'm one of the co-organizers of the historic Million People March. Never been done in the UK before. We organized that back in August, and off the back of that, we have what's called the Million People Movement. That movement, we're looking to incorporate with the Black Panthers, with my sister here. I call her my sister to you guys, but she's really like my daughter. She's a second daughter. I've got one daughter. She's my second daughter. We love Sasha. There's a reason that we connected. The first time I actually featured her on my channel at a protest march, and I interviewed her for my channel. And the first time I ever spoke to her was that interview day when I first met her and interviewed her for my channel. And I was so impressed with her. We came together and put the Million People March together. So what we're now doing, our agenda is totally aligned with Sasha's. We have something coming up shortly. We're going to put a press release on that. You'll be the first to know as well. We'll be happy to share that with you guys. Sometime beginning of next week, we'll put that together. It's something called an initiative called Stop December. Now, it's something that's never been done in the UK, but MPM, the Million People Movement, will be pressuring all professional sports people, athletes, to footballers, to tennis players, to marathon runners, whatever sports goes on in the month of December, we are pressuring them to boycott the whole month of December. And as an initiative to further put pressure on the British government, because what they've done through the summer is they've sort of hidden away in the wardrobe or in the closet, as you guys would say, and done this to all the marching that's gone on over the summer, hoping the marches will go away, the boots on the ground will go away. So what we've done is we've taken the marching, we've harnessed the energy from the marching over the summer, and we're now translating it into pressure on the government with things like the initiative like Stop December. So I'm just going to finish off by saying, I hope your viewers subscribe to the channel tonight. see how we translate your elections, because we think your elections matter to us big time. You've got a clown in the White House who thinks he can sell Puerto Rico to the Danish and take Greenland back to America. That's the sort of levels that you guys have been living with for the last 4 years. So we're going to be here. We're going to have an election party here in this room. And please subscribe. Anyone who's watching this, please subscribe to The Full 100 on YouTube, spelled out THEFULL and then spelled out 100. The Full 100. We're going to be airing our version and our translation of your elections tonight.
Ife?
Yeah. I'm Ife Oliaku. I'm a lawyer here in the UK. But, you know, my passion has been come up from the EndSARS movement. For your knowledge, the EndSARS movement is just a kind of a pressure group built up by the youths in Nigeria, to be able to address police brutality and a kind of bad governance that have been permeated the politics of Nigeria. You can recall that 90% of the problems that are still prevalent within that entity that they call Nigeria has been an offshoot of what has been left behind after the colonial times, and it's been still handling, creating much more problems for that entity called Nigeria. Essentially, the EndSARS movement, of course, upon that name EndSARS, which is a kind of action that has been taken by the youths to kind of raise awareness to the kind of oppression that they've gotten from a certain group of police formation that has been created to address certain criminal activities that have been going on in the country. However, they've gone beyond their bounds and begin to take laws into their hands and kind of run out the rule of law. They've been able to come up with all kinds of vices, including extrajudicial killings and all kinds of oppressive methods, more especially to the South, because the police, if you can recount, is supposed to be the friend of the people and be able to obviously, and be able to keep laws and also create peace within the entity. But however, I think they've been completely overtaken by the powers that have been given to them, which has made them to begin to oppressive regime, and they are doing the biddings of a set group. I don't want to say the government, because essentially the government is hiding under the auspices of keeping law and order. But however, they've begun to be being used to kind of create a kind of oppression within the South, more on the South. Because if you've been following the upheavals that has been following the EndSARS movement, there's a group within the northern side of Nigeria that is agitating that they still want and they want an EndSARS, but however, they want the SWAT. The SWAT is supposed to be a formation that has been just brought into fore immediately after the youth are agitating that the SARS has to go. However, the EndSARS movement in Nigeria stands for something bigger than a question of police brutality. They are the voice of the youth agitating for good governance, that there should be a change in the system of things that have been perpetrated that enclave that's called Nigeria. Essentially, they've been able to peacefully march prior to the 20th of October, in which there was a kind of a massacre at the Lekki toll gate. What we are more concerned right now is that certain questions need to be answered. Who authorize the shooting? One. And two, what are the essential things that they want to put in place to make sure that this thing doesn't happen again, and that they have to address the oppression that the youths and the so-called lower class of the people have experienced over the years.
Well, brother, let me give you a quick solution to why that won't happen again. See, America have a thing called the Second Amendment to our Constitution, and it allows us to, arm ourselves to protect ourselves. Well, really, what they say was from a tyrannical government. That's what it says. So in America, see, that couldn't go down like that because other people are armed, and a lot of African countries, that, is that they don't allow the citizens to be armed, but yet you have all the police, you have the military, everybody got guns, but the citizens don't have guns or don't have much access to it. So wouldn't it be better to say, okay, let the people have a way to defend themselves so that won't ever happen again? Do you agree with that?
I'd have to disagree. I'll answer that quickly if it doesn't matter. You can still answer it.
Yeah.
But I just want to add something to that answer. When you look at the United States of America, that is the worst policy you can have. That's all I'm going to say. You do not want the image.
Well, let me
say it's the worst. Do you know why I wouldn't say it's the worst policy, Phil? Because every time when Black men have stood up for liberation and they've stood with their weapons, they know we mean business. So I think that the people that do not carry, you can be taken over at any time. That's what that law is there for, so that they could come at any point. But when they know that you carry, they have to prepare you slowly and coach you into that domination. But with us that don't have weapon like the UK and Africa, what happened at Lekki Tollgate was a massacre. It was bigger than what happened to George Floyd if we look at it as Black people. If we don't look at it as African American or African or Caribbean, African Caribbean, this was bigger than that. George Floyd was a Black man shot down in a white man's land, because America's a white man's corporation. It's a business. And he was shot down by a white man in that land. This was Black men shooting down Black men in Africa for the means that serve a certain percentage of people that are not their people. As much as the government that they have will receive certain payouts and get certain money for that, like the contribution the UK made of 3 million to the SAR unit and the UK training their police, they lose on a whole, because who wins? The UK wins because they've got a trade deal in for weapons. They've got a training deal, a training deal in for training their military. That is an oppressive regime. And when you turn the lights off, a location that the lights are used to being on is significantly known for the bright lights at this toll gate, and you take away the CCTV. They didn't do that with George Floyd. We videoed that. We should never. For anybody that picks up their phone and videos something like that, you're very much a part of the problem. We videoed that, but the eyes of the world were taken. The eyes that were supposed to be there to ensure the safety of those people were taken. The lights were cut off, and more than 200 youth. We're not talking about adults, we're talking about youth. And when you look at it, if you look at the Soweto uprising in South Africa and how those youths were massacred, that is what happened at Lekki Tollgate. Those youths were massacred, and that means that they're lively attempting to kill the next generation of our young leaders, and that is a problem for me. So I don't think that what Spencer's saying, that we shouldn't have the right to carry. I think that since they don't want to give us the laws, and these laws don't apply to us, and freedom is a slogan and democracy is a slogan when it comes to us, we should have the right to bear arms to defend ourselves. But if we look at it from a realistic stance, those young people have hardly got the access to buy food, yet alone to take up bullets, to get ammunition and weapons. So first we have to work on the infrastructure, and that is exactly what I'm here to ask about. Currently, Nigeria doesn't just have a corrupt government, it has inadequate healthcare, it has lack of access to higher education and education at all. No living wage, no pension for the elderly,
no social security,
no social security system. You have people that have no access to basic needs such as electricity, gas and clean water. And Nigeria has billions. So does everywhere else that these Europeans have colonized. They have resources. Haiti, all of these countries that are still surviving in colonial taxes, while we sit by and we ask them to keep fixing our community, Let us wake up. They're not going to fix our community. We need to come together as a united coalition globally and fix our own community. Just the same way that they come in and they build up these economies based on our backs and our tears and our blood and our sweat and our women. We need to do the same. We need to utilize that energy amongst ourselves. Why do we keep asking government to provide us with buildings to hold things? Why do we keep asking them to provide us with funding and keep trying to say, oh, we're going to stand on your neck as long as you stand on our neck? The truth is, there's some black brothers and sisters who are standing on our necks as well. 100%. That is why a full black government in an African country stood on its people's neck. It killed it ate its children. That was murder.
It was premeditated murder at that. Exactly. Because they turned off the eyes that would have recorded it. Yeah. They turned off the lights. It was premeditated. But I want to just clear up something before Ife answers the question quickly. What I'm saying regarding America and arms is you do not want to replicate the gun system in the United States anywhere else in the world. No, right. Let me tell you something. You guys have over 55,000 killed. You don't want to replicate that. It's not a good system, and that's all I'm saying about it.
Yeah, but it's not a good system because they put us off with their social conditioning, so we're using these weapons against each other. But when we really get to identify who the enemy is, and it's very clear now to us, this generation has woken up far more than our last generation could have. Yeah. We know who the enemy is, so we're no longer willing to just quickly turn a gun on each other just like that. Gun crime is still happening in our community, but it happens in every other community. We need to stop taking these statistics and pinning them down to our community. No, that is us allowing them to keep pinning us in a box.
No. I'm talking about even accidental. Do you know how many thousand accidental deaths they have in America?
It happens.
Kids shooting each other.
Yeah, but it happens.
Spencer. Let me interject. Sasha, let me interject. I live in the state of Texas. Texas is the most gun-toting state in the union.
100%.
I'm going to tell you that in the United States.
The worst. It's the worst.
And I'm going to tell you, since I live here, people are not dying like that here in Texas. Actually, you have less crime in Texas because more people are armed here. I'm telling you, I live here.
We'll be on a low. I understand completely what you're saying. What the things that I would like to put in play is to try and find out, Phil, if we could get as many organizations to come on board to help, if we could get people from all over the world that has an organization or lead an organization that could help with this liberation. At the end of the day, over the years, we've seen every black organization or every black institution that's risen up to challenge oppression has been made to be called terrorists, when the true terrorists are the ones who are governing us and putting these laws into place. They're the true terrorists, because I've asked myself this today on Sky News in the UK. They announced that the UK has heightened back in a terrorist threat. What has ISIS been doing the whole of Corona? Hiding. People that would blow themselves up are now hiding from a disease. Like, we need to wake up. We need to wake up and ask ourselves, what is this? What is this world that we're living in, that we're just sitting by and letting these people rule and create laws and acts of parliament and legislations? And they don't have a clue. They don't have a moral compass. They don't know what a moral compass is. And when we look at the shine is, yes, there's jobs out there. Yes, we've got this new modernity system going, but who does that system of modernity benefit? It does not benefit us. So therefore, we need to challenge it. Even tonight being the election, I wouldn't have voted. Because you're deciding between who's less evil. Both of them are two white men who have set public views on what they feel about our community, regardless if one's taken 4,000 men in freedom out of prison. That is justice. That is something that was supposed to happen. We're entitled to that justice. We shouldn't feel indebted for that kind of justice, because that's something that we should have been entitled to already. So I don't care what black person wants to stand before me and justify Donald J. Trump taking out 4,000 African Americans out of prison compared to Obama. It's still what we was entitled to. It's called justice. It was supposed to happen. If we really are under this system of democracy, like they say, that was something that was supposed to happen. It's like saying we should be grateful for education, when really we're the founders of maths and science. So they should be grateful that our ancestors gave it to them, and they tortured us for that kind of information, and they sell it back to us.
And even that's a fake narrative about Donald Trump letting people out of jail. Donald Trump's put in, the last estimate I heard was over 300 judges in federal courts, many of them unqualified to be judges. many of them unqualified. What they qualified under his own eyes were they were right-wing, QAnon supporting, Trump supporting racist judges. That was their qualification. Now, he might be letting 2 out of jail according to their fake narrative, which is a lie. But at the same time he's letting 2 out of jail, his judges are locking up 10 every single day. So it's a fake narrative that he's doing anything for black people. But I want to say this. I understand where Sasha's coming from in terms of voting. I'm different. I see it slightly differently, because I see that if you gave me a choice to either shoot me in the head or drown me, I'd still choose shooting me in the head. I'd still choose that, because at least I'm dead in a second. Drowning me makes me aware that I'm about to die. I can't breathe. I can't scream. That's more torturous. So going with that principle, this is what I say. If your viewers can please go to my video that I actually aired just yesterday, I featured a black guy who was arrested for protesting in one of your cities. I can't recall which city, but his interview says exactly my perspective. He says it's better to have, it's not about voting for just one person. Yes, there are 2 white men standing. It's not just the 2 white men standing, it's the administration as a whole. We still don't wait. So it's better, according to him, if you go and watch the video uploaded just yesterday on The Full 100, and listen, is the last of the last person to speak on the show, the last video on the show, and he actually says this: it's better to have someone else. He even said Mickey Mouse than your Jeff Sessions, who was your first Attorney General, or William Barr, who authorized for peaceful protesters because Trump wanted to stand up with a Bible. It's better to have somebody who's at least sympathetic and empathetic to our issues than to have somebody who does that to our issues. It's better to have Elizabeth Warren, even though she's white, in charge of education or health than somebody who's there trying to shut down hospitals in black communities. Yeah. So it comes down. I know they're both bad choices. I agree with you.
Brother, listen, Elizabeth Warren, all she's gonna do is come up here with this people of color crap and this minorities. Okay, it's no different, because at the end of the day, black folks gonna lose to Elizabeth Warren too.
Thank you. The same way in the long term, we might not lose with Joe Biden now, but in the long term, we're going to lose. Right now, he's feeding all the right pacifiers. Same with Donald J. Trump. All the right pacifiers are coming from them. We need to go and address them and let them know. And that's why I agree with the Panthers marching on the White House. March on it, yes, just to remind them. Don't think that you've pacified everybody, because some people are into complete liberation and complete freedom and complete equality. And unless that is what you're coming with, just know that this revolution continues, whether you sit in that house or you sit outside of it. That is what the message should be right now. And as black people globally, I think enough has happened. Why do we keep saying enough is enough? Enough has happened.
We've had enough. Too much has happened.
So enough has happened now for us to decide that we are not members of politics. Politics serves no purpose for us. It is not our playing field. We don't belong in it. It is never there to protect us. It's there to protect corporation and people that of wealth and people that are of hereditary wealth. So people that wealth has come down in their bloodline, and that is what it's there to protect. It's not there to protect the normal civilians like me and you. It's not there for that. So until we either form a place in politics that is there for us and that will represent us accordingly and actually see through the oath that they made to the people, then we shouldn't be voting for anybody. Because now you will say, yeah, it's better if I was gonna be shot or drowned, I will pick to be shot. But then if I found out that if I knew the man that was gonna shoot me had the gun on him the whole time, I'm not gonna wait for him to shoot me.
No, of course not. I'm talking about when it comes to the choice, isn't it? That's what I'm talking about. So, for example, Black Lives Matter. If he's giving you a choice, you will know that he has a gun, and you will know that there's water. So you know, and you being aware of these two things. I'm a reflective person. If I would be aware that he has a gun and there's water there, then I know the weapons he's coming with. So that is my choice now to choose, as I would say as a Panther, freedom or death. Black people need to rise up. Yeah. Just to ram home that point real quick, and I'm done. Just to ram home that point, you see, Black Lives Matter itself if you didn't have Obama in power and the right conditions for Black Lives Matter to gain that momentum that then propelled it to what it is today. If you had Trump, if you had the current administration in power in 2012-13, when BLM first started and woke up and became, they allowed, President Obama had them in the White House. Can you imagine Trump inviting them to, he thinks they're all terrorists right now. So that goes to the point I'm trying to make, as in, it's better to choose the people or the person or the administration that at least allows for the right environment to have a conversation and we can push. Have someone who can listen rather than someone who says we're going to shut you down.
And then
we don't want to hear about
what happened later with Obama.
We had to
later admit that Obama came into that White House and he did not do much for our people. But we held him up. At the time, the amount of people that went out to vote for Obama was enough to start a revolution with a black man in power. Yeah. And we didn't do that. And then in the end, we had to admit he got away with had 44. 44 meant that they didn't need to be a 45. And yet still there was a 45. So I think with the arms thing and the voting thing, no, we haven't got a place in politics. We need to hold the UN, Amnesty, all of those people accountable. We need to hold them accountable at a higher level. We need to stop looking to hold these people. We need to hold them accountable at a global level for the genocide and atrocities that they've committed against the black community. Because today it might be Nigeria, tomorrow it will be America, the next day it will be Jamaica. We each have had our turn in the hands and in the aims of these oppressors. We've each been the targets of these people at different points. But the one thing that we've all got in common, that the target is no longer just Nigeria as a nation, Jamaica as a nation, America as a nation. Black people is what we've got in common. That's who this fight is against. It's never been a war on gang and a war on drugs and a war. It's been a war on our people. And it's about time we realize. And if after this election, we continue to support these celebrities that come and they cry on these social media platforms to say that they are with us and they show solidarity, but yet they won't risk their brands to come and actually stand in physical.
December.
We need to hold them to account as well.
That's what Stop December is
when
about.
I say hold them to account, Stop December is about a sportsman. If I'm getting 25,000, if I'm getting 100K to kick a football, Spencer, I'm not gonna just stop my whole month of my 100K with no income, because I'm not telling them to. I'm saying give your money to your community. Start a school. Start a charter school. Exactly. Put money into an organization that's willing to start and
re-educate.
Put funding. Put funding into an organization that wants to create a food larder. Because I think that we need to start creating back food banks for our community, feeding our community. Because once we can show that we're sustainable amongst ourselves, people have more confidence in the liberation and have more dignity and black pride and stand for it. Right now, if I don't think that you could feed me, I don't think that you could help me in financial ways, because those are the things that people think about is their immediate needs. If there's no way that we could address that in our community, people are not going to stand. They are going to bow down to the oppressor. They're going to continue to bow down because we can't take care of our own basic needs. When we look at the Jewish community, the Amish community, they've been given their own sovereignty because they are able to take care of their own community. Exactly. The Jewish community in London, they have their own police system, meaning before the real police is called, I think before the real terrorists is
called, in New York too. In New York City, they got their own people.
Is called, they call their own. So why is it that we can't? Why do we have these pastors driving up and down and past us? But all them, Pastor Joshua, Pastor, all that one that's with that Giselle from the house, right? All of these pastors, all of these men that we have, Brother Polite, all of these men that we have sit and tell us that they're revolutionists, and but we see them in Rolex, we see them in Gucci, we see them in all these cars, but yet still, you are telling me that you can't put that money into your community and do something that your children could be around.
Yeah, so essentially, if I can, come in here. It's very, very important that we see what is happening right now in Nigeria as something that is, a wake-up call for the black man anywhere. You will be able to know that except Nigeria can raise up its head, the entire black race will not be able to identify themselves, to get that, integrity that any black man in the face of the earth, needs.
Yeah.
So it's important. I see a couple of, not just couple, a lot of movement of people in the diaspora, both in America and everywhere,
Congo,
who are, even most of us that are even here, wanting to give back to the motherland, something that can make it stand on its feet. But except Nigeria, except there's a good governance, except there is a change in the mindset of those who are in authority and even the followership within that entity, the black man will not be able to stand on his own feet.
Brother, let me interject on something. I said this on a program that I'm going to be featuring in. The issue on the continent right now is this: tribalism. Okay, you know that better than me. You from Nigeria. Tribalism is a problem in the 21st century, because when these other groups like the Mzungus and the Chinese and all these different ones that's coming into your country, they don't look at themselves as multiple tribes. They say, I'm Chinese, I'm Mzungu, I'm whatever, I'm Lebanese, I'm Arab. So they come in there with that kind of unity, right? So what the young people, what I'm liking and seeing, not just in Nigeria, they protest in Angola, the Anglophone side of Cameroon. The young people are saying this. They are wanting African nationalism. They don't want tribalism. They want African nationalism, where they look at their country and their continent first, and their people are first. Not all this, I'm Arab, I'm Christian, I'm this, I'm that. And all and what's happening is, and what's frustrating young people, you got a young people that's getting PhDs and yet driving Uber. That's not right. While you got politicians in Nigeria, I just covered the story, brother, where you had 3 politicians mad that the young people exposed all this would happen on social media, and they want to regulate and shut down social media because it exposed them.
It's no different from what Trump is doing. It's not. We're seeing that happen every day in the United States.
Brother, hold on, brother, hold on. Let's stop now. We haven't had no massacre like that in the U.S. Trump, you can't compare Trump and what happened over there. We don't even want to go there. That's not even.
No, I'm not talking about the massacre. I'm talking about shutting down, attacking social media, attacking the press, shutting down voting in your Harris County, in your state of Texas. Just leaving 4 million people.
County, the votes in Harris County didn't get shut down. What are you talking about?
No. Harris County has got one voting one collection point for.
That was the governor did that, not Donald Trump.
Pardon, who did that?
The governor of Texas did that, not Donald Trump.
And who did he do it for? Come on, man.
I don't know. I don't know who he did it for. I'm just telling you what Trump, he did.
All I'm saying is what we see happening banana republics, according to Trump, is exactly what we're seeing in the United States. I actually done a video. I was the first one to call out the United States being a banana republic.
Brother, hold on. With all due respect, what you're talking about is totally different than what we're talking about with Nigeria. Can we just stick to Nigeria for a minute? Because Nigeria ain't really being talked about, and why people leave Nigeria, etc. Let's get back to Nigeria. Go ahead.
Sorry if I can come in right here. The truth is, the issue of tribalism and ethnic bigotry that exists in Nigeria is an offshoot of what has happened with the post-colonial entity that they've created. The truth there is, this youth uprising, or whatever you call it, the march, has been one of the forum that there wasn't any show of whether you are Yoruba, you are Igbo, you are whatever. It's just one.
It's unity.
Yeah, where everybody gathered together, all the youths in one vein, raising the flag and calling that we are even singing the national anthem is good, and it's just one thing that we've seen that is good, has been one of the best things that happened to that entity in these recent times. The major issue there is, while we appreciate that the president Buhari was really willing and has shown some level of magnanimity in accepting the 5 for 5, there's a lackadaisical attitude that's existing.
He's hiding.
Yes,
he's hiding the facts. He's hiding the truth.
It's not just him. I think he's willing to actualize
but he knows what's going on.
The truth is, there's a lot of power play there, and what we are, really asking for is that, so many things need to be, taken into cognizance here. We don't want whatever that has transpired before that has created this uprising by the youths to be swept under the carpet, and then all this, kind of trading of blames and calling of names and all kinds of things between, some of the stakeholders, the so-called people who have been able to finance whatever political alienations has been in Nigeria, to kind of try to hoodwink the population and bring them that we want, a concise and a concerted effort. Well, right now we've seen that the government has, given a kind of a transition for all the governors to be able to inaugurate all kinds of panels and to be able to look into the issues that was part of the 5 for 5. However, there is also certain things that are playing. There's a lot of acts that by, well, could I just say, those who are supposed to be corporates trying to undermine whatever the result is going to be by trying to clear off all the evidences. They are trying to remove those who have been killed. Yeah, and also there's a kind of feeling for there to be a continuation of the status quo, which is not going to foster well at the end of the day. We want them to show magnanimity more in trying to see into what has created this. Well, most of them are trying to downplay this and look into the looters and all that. Well, we shouldn't forget that the looters are also Nigerians.
And mention
why they also agree.
Brother, let me ask you a question. Were you born in the UK or you immigrated there?
No, I immigrated here.
Okay, why did you leave Nigeria?
Yeah, for greener pastures.
Okay, listen what you just said. You just said you left Nigeria for greener pastures, okay?
Exactly.
For you to even say, I have to leave Nigeria for greener pastures is the reason why those children are fighting.
Yes, exactly.
It's not right to leave your country.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm from America, okay? My ancestors have been through the worst of the worst. And then when we look back at Nigeria or Cameroon or any African country, and we see people from the African nations immigrating here, we like, why aren't you fighting for your countries? Like, you have a whole country controlled by black people. You have all the resources in the world. I mean, they are trying to run and flood into the African continent. That is yours. Like, if for us, it's sad to watch African immigrants come in and then you see Chinese running in. You see Mzungus from all over the world running in, Lebanese.
Sorry to cut you in. I think there should be a point of correction here. What you're saying is not exactly what is happening. You might think it's been, that the countries are being, led by, the blacks. No, there's still some external,
shadow. There's still shadow governance happening.
Okay, you're right. You got a bunch. You're right. I know, brother. Brother,
I'm direction of the governance,
brother.
Which is
listen, I'm with you. I know there's a lot of sellouts on the continent. That's the problem too. I understand that. They work for the Mzungu, they work for the Chinese, they work for everybody else. I know. That's why the people have to fight. You can't have all the Nigerian doctors you have here. Look, I live in Houston, the biggest Nigerian population in the US.
And then other countries get to benefit because they're paying taxes in every country.
Yeah.
Why can't they be in Nigeria doing that?
Can I say what the Chinese did? And I lived in Spain for 10 years, and when we were trying to sell a restaurant that we opened, that's when I realized what the Chinese actually do. And they're the only ones who do this, as far as I know. But if you're a Chinese, the Chinese encourage their citizens to go out. Just go out in the world, wherever you go to. When you get to where you're going to, if it's Greece, if it's the US, if it's London, wherever it is, you tell us what you need to set up a business. Yeah. We'll send you the money to set up this business, whether it's 50,000 euros or 50,000 pounds. Yeah. You set up that business on 2 conditions. 1, you only hire Chinese people. 2, you pay their wages to a Chinese bank. The only two conditions we want from you. And you make sure you pay back the loan
Still,
when
yeah.
you're able to.
Still
The Chinese
to
have
monopolize
this,
the economic
they've got this as a policy, a government policy. Now, imagine if a country like Nigeria did the same thing and said, look, you want to study, we pay for your study, go out. If you want to go abroad to work, go abroad to work. But guess what? You're paying your, make sure wages are coming to the country. We tax you in the country, so we get some benefit from the millions or whatever it is that you're going to earn over your lifetime.
And
but
that's
no one else
what
does that.
That is exactly what I've come up with the Black Bank. It's when we come onto platforms like this and we get together in coalitions. If we could help each other, if we could collect donations on this platform, other platforms, and we start to help each other to own property, own things, and start building, buy things. If you look at the reason I say Nigeria is that the youth, why I see why those youth stood, the same reason you see why they stood, is when they realize that their country isn't for them anymore. Their country isn't operating for them, and they don't want to let it go. And that is why they stood. They don't see themselves in England paying taxes here and not really benefiting from it and coming to face similar oppressions here as well. It's the same thing when they tell us to go back to our countries, and we look, our countries are not even safe enough to go back to now because of what you're doing to it.
Yeah, and there aren't the necessary amenities.
And the hand that Instagram, the hand that Instagram had to play on the Instagram is a social media platform. The fact that Instagram branded what was going on live, and they know how live works. Live video footage from the Lekki toll gate that showed people being executed and massacred, and they put that as false facts.
Exactly.
They put that Instagram was very much a part of that. And that is why I say we should come out of popular culture and call these platforms to account. Do you know how much money we've made Instagram? Do you know how much money we've made them? And the businesses that continue to thrive on these platforms are white businesses, because we as Black, we don't use it enough, or we don't support each other enough, and we don't network enough. We think about our individual win, but we win as individuals. But when we lose as a whole. We lose as a whole. But when we win, we will win as individuals. What happened with the lack of coverage? The Nigerian government said that they didn't want the Western world being showed up, because if with the more coverage, people are going to dig. You're going to follow the money. You're going to say, but why didn't the SAR unit go for the Boko Haram? Why didn't SARS go and kill off the Boko Haram soldiers?
Why are they killing innocent people?
Why are they killing the youth? What are the youth saying? What are the messages that the youth are saying? Why did the British fund the SAR unit? Why did they donate 3 million? And who had control of that fund? These are the facts that they tried to hide when they killed the media narrative. And then they show what they want to show, because then they come and they show Buhari in a 14-minute speech talking nothing about the deaths, not apologizing to these family members, but in fact sending a subliminal message to the people of Nigeria, telling them he is not old and he's ready. That is like when Donald Trump told the Proud Boys to stand by.
Stand by and stand back and stand by.
How dare you? How dare you? The same way that when the British and when all of these colonizers came into our motherland and our countries, the whole territory, they poisoned. They came with guns, germs, and steel. But yet still, we keep turning the other cheeks. We keep looking for religion when we're serving a white Jesus. We still haven't asked all of these black pastors out here.
Amen, Sasha. Oh, you my favorite once again. Amen about white Jesus. Continue. Go ahead. 10%
hides and heads. They need to get active.
Sasha, not to interrupt you, Sasha. Sasha, hold on. Let me tell you something I saw that just really angered me. So last time I was in Kenya, I was going from Nairobi airport to Mombasa. What I saw was black Catholic priests. And when I saw them walking in there, I said, what the? I'm like, what are you all doing? I said, you know the Catholic Church sanctioned slavery? They blessed the slave traders so they can go out and hunt African people and ship them all over the place. Why are we doing anything or white Jesus? We got to get rid of that.
And black people need to look at the Bible in the sense of science.
Yes.
That is how the white man looks.
Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. That's from Nigeria. Don't y'all got that big, huge statue of white Jesus over there?
Well, I think,
brother, yes or no? Don't y'all got one of the biggest statues of white Jesus?
Yes, there's that mindset of
in Africa, and Jesus was Northern Africa.
Oh my
in Africa,
God.
seeing Jesus and well,
we have them in the Vatican praying and bowing to a black Madonna, but they won't bow to the black woman. It's about time they bow to the black woman, because we possess the EG that's going to secure them.
It's still a vice by the supremacists wanting to create that feeling of submission on the black population. So the truth is, we still need a re-education. Re-education of our people.
You know the best re-education, my brother? You know the best re-education for the youth to go and knock down and destroy that big statue of white Jesus? That's the best education you can start with.
Yeah, the same way they shot the pharaohs of any pastor. If I was to step in a church, believe it or not, I will stand before you and I will tell you, you are misleading your people, because no black pastor has a congregation full with only white people. He's preaching to his people, and he needs to understand, if you are a pastor, you continue to re-perpetuate brainwashing, social conditioning onto your people, you are part of the problem.
And then demonizing, the ancestors, and
they demonize. They call it Obia. They call our ancestors. The Haitians had revolution through Obia. Obia is something that's in our community, and we should start owning what our actual spirituality is. Jesus was a ship. Well,
hold on. Let me talk to my Nigerian brother. How is it accepted to have white Jesus in this day and time when it clearly says skin of bronze, woolly hair like myself?
Exactly.
Okay, it's not no stringy hair and Caesar border. We gotta stop accepting that on the comment, man. We gotta stop that.
That's such a brilliant question.
It's right there in the Bible that when the Messiah is coming, he's going to have woolly hair.
Yeah.
With skin like burnt copper,
born bronze. So I asked the guy, I said, "Can you tell me the color of bronze? What does it look like? Does it look like the white?" He said, "Well," I said, "Look, go and look deep in. The truth is, it's there written, but
it's worse because we're here over here. I had a situation. I've got older kids and I've got 10-year-olds. 20-year gap between my second youngest and my last one. And my 10-year-old, last year when he was 9 in school, he goes to a Church of England school, and they regularly go to church. Every couple of months they're going to church. Anyway, he tells the rep. This is after George Floyd, by the way, and before George Floyd, and he tells the vicar that Jesus was black. She tells him shush. He then understands, why would you tell me shush? Because obviously we've told him at home that Jesus is black. Anyway, what makes it worse, which I had to challenge, was after the mass, they've got back to the school, and his head teacher comes to him and says, "Don't be doing that in church anymore." He says, "But miss, he was saying that that Jesus was black, Jesus is white. Oh, Jesus is not white." So I was trying to. I had to go to the head teacher and say, "Listen, it's one thing trying to teach our kids lies. It's quite another thing when you have a child who knows the truth,
the discipline,
and you're trying to suppress the child from telling the truth. Don't do that with my child."
But they shouldn't be teaching our children no way. That's the problem too. They shouldn't be teaching our children. We should be. Is it enough black men and women in the UK to teach black children?
Listen, I educate my child. I've educated my older one's a lawyer, my second born, 30, 29, the second one's an actor, and my 10-year-old, I'm educating a lot of them. I do his schoolwork with him, and believe you me, he's far ahead of his
Phil's
class.
trying to say the IQ system and this Eurocentric education was never meant for us to succeed. No. It is not our playing field. We need the same way the Chinese man sets up his own school, the Arabs set up their own school, the Jewish set. We need to put money and set up our own school and teach our own people what they need to know, because the master won't give us the tools to dismantle his house. So we need to set up our own.
We need the finance. We need coming together. This is what I'd like to make an appeal on this program, to please look out for a Facebook page for MPM, the Million People Movement. My second daughter here, Sasha, is already with the Black Panthers. They're already huge. We need to get to where they are. We need to come together. The US Black Panthers and the UK need to come together and bring your numbers as one, not UK, US, but one. And then with the Million People movement, search us out on Facebook, join us. We're trying to get to that fantastic number of 1 million members. And I'll tell you why I say this. We're more respected and we're more listened to when we talk in numbers, when we speak as one. But we have found it so difficult to
galvanize each other,
to come together.
Unity, exactly.
That's been a crisis that we haven't been able to overcome.
Phil, if you could get me in touch with Dr. Umar, Tamika Mallory, and people that are with my speed and on my speed and can really look forward to starting this kind of movement that we're talking about. We're talking about coming together to put money together to start buying property, whether it's here in the UK, America, Africa. We need steering committees on the ground and pressure groups on the ground to represent us in all facets. Not just me as a Panther or as a Million People movement, but as Black people. We need some of the real movers and shakers that has the influence to utilize that influence. So I'm calling on your platform for Dr. Umar Johnson to get in touch, for people like Tamika Mallory to get in touch, for people like, there was a lawyer with the surname Baxter that I've been trying to get a hold of that dealt with, he was quite good with the case, a case that happened in America, and I'm trying to get a hold of people like that, people with you that are up there as well as people that are down there. If you're not serious, don't get in touch with me, because I'm not looking to have idle-minded conversations. And I'll be honest with you, when I say the talk of it could be, and only if, I don't want that. I want it can be, it's gonna be, and this is when. That is what I want. So if you know you're not on that, don't contact me. When it comes on to talking about the movement for Nigeria, now we're going into a second lockdown. I think it's important, and now your elections are about to be called. It's important that we join and come together as one. When I say one, I don't mean look at it as a Nigeria. This is a human rights issue. As Black people, we've all been dealing with human rights issue, whether it's America, Africa, the Caribbean, Mexico, Cuba, Brazil, anywhere in diaspora, we've been dealing with it, and it's full time now. We stomp out bad governments and we kill the preservation. And when I say preservation, it is a preservation. That is why they keep rebirthing them in our government, even Africa. It's a preservation of white supremacy that we need to burn it out, kick it down, flip it on flip them to the tail if they need to be flipped to the tail. But if we could be on a balanced board, we could be on a balanced board. But the way things are looking is that in order to reform our community, we might have to go back into segregation, because if we don't, we are at risk. We are at risk. We are serious risk, because when they can't kill us with their guns, they're incarcerating us. When they can't kill us, Black women are 1 in 8 chance of dying in childbirth. Black man, 1 in 8 of prostate cancer. When they can't heal the mind, they're coming at us in so many different ways. We need to heal as a community. The same way that you can leave your house to go out and go twerk your ass in a club, leave your house and find and hold a pastor to account to give you his church to use to do re-education of our community. All of these pastors, Pastor Joshua, the one that's married to that Giselle, I keep forgetting his name, that Pastor Brian, I don't know what his name is, but he knows who he is. Come out and give your church over to people that want to teach real history and want to tell the true story. No one is saying spirituality isn't real. What we're saying is your white Jesus that you've been sitting on and you've been waiting for him to liberate you. It's science that you need to look at the Bible at. Look at the Bible in science. When Alistair Crowley and then white men use these biblical verses, they don't look at it the way that we look at it. They don't expect no white man to skip down out the sky and help dry their tears and come in a ray of light. They look at it as the sun, Venus, Orion. They look at it as Uranus, all of that. That's how they look at it. We're sun people. That is how we're supposed to look at that. We're not supposed to look at it as we should turn a blind eye to our master, because what enemy is going to teach us a religion that is going to point them out to be the enemy? They're going to teach us submission, and that's all they've been teaching us. So when they come into these African countries, when the UN that's supposed to be looking at human rights and stuff, they deploy more army into these countries than they do aid. They deploy more military into these countries than they do aid. That's questionable. We need to start questioning that.
and more especially at there's need for there should be an encouragement of a revitalization of the Pan-Africanism. Be able to create drive
African
home,
leaders should speak for Africa.
Be able to drive home, talk, able to harness whatever is being left within the African Union, to see focus very well on
they need to call for liberation and repreration, or we denounce them. Exactly. We denounce them as all of them as dictators.
Well, Sasha and brother, listen, this is my opinion about the continent. You have some great people there, like Julius Malema. He should be the president of South Africa. Let's call it what it is. Kemi Seba, that brother, he needs to be running something. PLO Lumumba, another brother, he need to be running something. There's a lot of good people out there.
Yeah, so
these are the people we need to reach.
And encouraging people like Femi Falana and the host of other people who are really, interested in,
a revolution.
Bringing in, changing the face of the human rights education within that sphere, so that there will be a kind of integrity given back to
a preservation of dignity.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are two initiatives. One we've only just discussed today, which was brought up by Sasha.
The Black Woman, Man and Child Agenda.
Yeah, and the building up of in the UK we call it a PARD now. So the initiative is to form a society. The larger the number of people in the society or the group, the better. So let's give an example in our conversation today. Let's say we had a group made up of only 30,000 people, okay? And each week, every one of those 30,000 gives £1 to the group each week.
$1.
$1, £1. It doesn't matter. At the end of that week, when they pay that £1, we have £30,000 which to go towards
buying
a property for a member of the group who's ready. We can repeat this every single week. Increase that number to 1 million. Increase that number to 1 million. Million people give £1 a week. $1 a week. That's $1 million every week that can buy properties, help people have poverty,
feed our community,
feed those who need it.
Begin to rebuild
and because it's only £1,
economy, kind of.
And because it's only £1, you'll get your turn. I'm in the group. Sasha might get her turn next January. Maybe my turn is sometime in August.
That's why we want to set that. That's why we want to set up steering committees. So each person will get a turn. So you won't think the number is too big for your turn to come, because you'll have a steering committee in your city, in your country, and it will be good. Because eventually each of us should own something.
So
if it's a business, if it's a car, it's a shop, something.
And that came up today, and we're working on it as we speak. But I've got a second initiative which I brought up in the summer. And again, this initiative, I believe, is the problem solving, not just for Africa, because we're here talking about African countries, but every black country is in trouble. None of the black countries are being managed properly. So I actually brought up an initiative in the summer called the Union of Black Nations. A Union of Black Nations is about bringing the Spanish black nations like
Haiti. Gaddafi wanted, the African, right? Latin.
But he's bringing the Caribbean countries as well as the African countries under one. And I'll tell you what, you align their interests. You have, in my initiative, you have a Security Council. Yeah, it's similar to the UN Security Council. But that Security Council is made up of 8 countries that rotate. So 8 countries take one time. After 4 years, another 8 countries take. So each country gets a turn on the Security Council. However, this is the most important bit. That Security Council will be responsible for George Floyd next time a George Floyd happens in America. That Security Council will be responsible for the Chinese. When you saw the Chinese, when you saw the Chinese beating up the poor African man, he's nameless to us, he's faceless to us. However, to that Security Council, he's somebody. They speak, because it's the reason a black person gets killed or gets disrespected anywhere in the world is because we have no diplomatic channel speaking up for us.
Well, brother,
So
I'm hearing everything you're saying. I'm hearing a lot of group economics, like with Dr. Claude Anderson with Poweronomics. But see, it goes back to some of that you talking about could work in other countries, but the African continent should be the center and the power base of all Black people.
The base for it. Thank you.
And this is why I said earlier that we need the continent should be practicing African nationalism, not tribalism. Because the person just asked me in the chat earlier.
Phil.
You know, the modernization of this Pan-Africanism.
What I've come on here to ask for is for Black lawyers, Black doctors, most importantly, at the time of COVID now. Wherever you are, if you're in Nigeria as a Black doctor or a Black lawyer, if you're in America.
Brother, hold on. Let Sasha finish talking. You can't interrupt him, brother. I'll let you speak.
If
Go ahead,
you're in America or Africa and anywhere around the world you're a Black doctor, we need to form a coalition now. So if you're in the UK, you can see our people in the UK, because we are telling our people, do not go to the doctor. Don't accept no vaccination, no foreign object in your body. Find out what medications you're taking, and see someone in our community to see. Our doctors need to start looking after our people. If you're a doctor and you are a private practitioner and you're self-employed, right now, propose yourself over to me. Find me, the Sasha Johnson on Instagram, Sasha Johnson on Facebook. I'm going to give Phil all the email details that you will need to get in touch with me and contact. You're who we're looking for. We're looking for our doctors, our economists. We're looking for our lawyers. We're looking for our people that have been in government positions, that know the statutes, the policies and stuff. We're looking for you, because you're going to help us to build a foundation to protect ourselves in this state of emergency. Because don't get it mistaken, we are in a state of emergency 100%. And we need you all on our side. And through that, we're going to form the Black Bank. The Black Bank will operate as an underground. We're going to recreate our currency and we're going to run it amongst our people. If you are interested in this and you're a banker and you're an economist, or you're someone that's, I'm Jamaican, you lot, so it will come out how it come out. Or you're someone that is in accountancy, you should be making yourself known now. You should say, yes, I will work for the cause. And we're going to help to build up as many of our people as we can. We're going to see our own people medically. We're going to create wellness groups so our people get their mental health checks in. So we know that they're not just being medicated, because this system just medicates us. They don't actually investigate, they medicate. It's only when they need to take from us that they investigate. So we need to secure our people for food, shelter, and healthcare. Food, shelter, healthcare. We need to govern those basic needs before we could talk about any form of liberation outside of that. Those are the basic things: food, healthcare, education. Those are the basic things that we need to take care of before we can reach for higher. We could all talk about what is going to happen now, but the truth is, now that Nigeria has happened, Lekki Tollgate has happened, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Philando Castro, Trayvon, all of those have happened. Malcolm X, all of those has happened. Even Marcus Garvey was victim to immigration. All of those things have happened. What it is now is, what are we going to do now? If you're a Black person that used to work in immigration and you know how they deal with their things, we need you on side. Come on side, work for your people. The same way that they maintain intelligence amongst us and they infiltrate us, and then we need to have places that we're doing the same thing. If you're good at computer engineering and you see yourself as a, what they would call it, profile hacker or whatever, get in touch with me, man. I got a job for you. I got a way that you could help us, even from behind the scenes. So if all of those who are making the excuse to say, my brand, get off your back. Get off your back. Get off your back. You've been laying on your back too long. It's about time that we had a Black woman, man and child agenda, and to protect our elderly, because without our elderly, we won't know our history and we won't know how to preserve ourselves. So we need to preserve them long enough so that we could get that baton passed on and we could sow that seed. We need to address those things in our community. And until we do that, there's no point in us keep talking about liberation. Until I said this on Black Power Radio with the Pan. I said, until we stop having an original Black Panther Party and a new Black Panther Party, a UEP gun club, a NFAC, all of you get yourself together, get your necks out your ass, because when the white man is leading you, you're not questioning it. So when we're leading each other, we're questioning each other.
Exactly.
Not one man could be the leader of this.
No.
Not one man. That's why the so-called white Jesus needed 12 disciples. Not one man could be the leader of this. So all of you that are performing lip service and coming out, celebrities and all, you all know who I'm talking to. You know if you've been crying on national TV. You know if you've been promising to do things in the community. You know you're the ones getting our young people to sign these malicious contracts and indebting them to these white people. You know what you're doing. You know the part you play, and now is the time for you to reverse it. Now is the time for you to turn it around, because what Nat Turner said, Nat Turner's revolution was a real one, and it will stick with me. We need to identify who's against us, because we need to get rid of them. The same way when the white man identify who's against them, they go in with bombs, gun, germs, steel, their foot, their dick, they go in with their penis, they go in with everything to eradicate that. We need to do the same.
I know we say this all the time. Togetherness is a must. It really is a must. And
color for color, skin for skin. Stick to the black and leave the white. Color for color, skin for skin. Stick to the blacks and leave the whites. Color for color, skin for skin. Stick to the blacks and leave the whites. Every time they feel a threat by us, that's exactly what they do. They go into subliminal segregation. Subliminal segregation is what they go into when they feel that we're a threat. Color for color, skin for skin. Stick to blacks and leave the whites. Leave them to what they have and take what we have. We're rich in resources. We're rich in power. We're strong, you know.
Togetherness brings
strong.
it all together.
We need that black dignity.
And that's the core is coming together. And you know what? When an initiative like the Union of Black Nations can come into existence, I think the ordinary black people on the ground, when they see all of their countries all of a sudden sitting on one panel as one, speaking as one, I think that will be a great look that would then begin to start.
Yeah, so we're calling
the breaking down of this.
All of those people
that
keep thinking that they're hegemonic and tokenistic philanthropy, and I'm talking about you celebrities that donate to these organizations to skip your taxes out. Stop trying to skip your taxes. Come in your community and do something real. Do something real in your community.
You're gonna hear it. You heard it here first. You're getting a scoop, my friends. You're getting this.
And with that being said, Sasha, like I said, I'll get you to send me all that with through through WhatsApp, and we can post all of that. Like I said, Sasha, don't leave real quick. I need to wrap up this program. We've been on here a little while. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'll be back for sure, probably a little bit later on tonight. I mean, I got to pick my wife up from the airport and everything a little later, but I'll come back on later on tonight, and we'll see what's going on in this crazy, Babylon system that we live in. And, well, Sasha and them live in Babylon too. Anything is a white supremacy is Babylon. So, Sasha, before we go, like I said, just let people know how they could find you, and then we're going to close out.
The Sasha Johnson on Instagram is THESASHAJOHNSON. On Facebook, it's just Sasha Johnson, or you can email me, capital letters now, capital N, capital B, capital P, capital P, capital U, capital K, customer service at outlook.com. New Black Panther Party UK, customer service at outlook.com.
Stop December.
We're also doing Stop December. I'm also doing the Black woman, man and child agenda and protecting our elderly. We're also saying Sarasuki, speak for Nigeria, speak for Black liberation, stand up, be heard, rise up. You can also look on the Million People website. You can find me on there if you need to get hold of me.
No looting, but there should be a consultant.
No one's looting. When the government holds food from you, you are the people. People's power. You are meant to take that. It's survival of the fittest. So you are supposed to take that. Like I will always say, Phil, you're a king. Black power, black power, black power, black power.
Thank you, Phil. And please tell your viewers to log in so they can log on to the Full 100 tonight. We're going to go live in probably about 2 hours from now, or less than that. Probably about 11:30 we'll go live. 11:30 UK time. You're going to be seeing our view of your US elections live as the results come in. So the full 100 on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys later.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
so
again
much
for your time. I really
thank you
appreciate
so much,
it.
Phil. I appreciate what you are doing right now. And
Great job.
yeah,
Phil, don't forget to tell them to march with the Panthers.
we wish you very good, good elections so that the right candidate can come out.
Right
Exactly.
There is.
Whoever the right
Remember,
candidate is.
marching on the White House the 7th of November.
Exactly. And then,
all my Panthers, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Go and tell them who's the boss. Let them know that this liberation and revolution won't be stifled. It will be televised.
Yeah.
So please be boots on the ground if you're in America with the Panthers. They're marching in Washington on the 7th of November.
And we're marching here.
And we need further encouragement unto Africa. We need.
And we're marching at the Nigerian embassy as well.
A complete change of mindset. We need
all right. So with that being said, actually, Sasha, Akile had actually, talked about that March 2 today. She sent a promo over here, and we posted the promo. So yeah, they definitely know about that particular march. They said on the White House. So thank everybody for listening. Join us on the show, and see you next time.